Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know I say this every single week on these live webinars, and I say it every month on our podcast episodes. But the goal is that our agents walk away with nuggets, maximize your minutes, right? And learn new strategies that maybe you didn't know before we started today, right? So this afternoon, you can use some of these ideas and products and pick up the phone and boom, all of a sudden you just sold a new policy, right? Or maybe it will change your business plan, your business model for the future. So that's what these are all about at the end of the day, which means you need to make your notes. You can expand that Q&A pane, which is part of the go-to webinar software. And please fire away with comments, questions, feedback, good, bad, and different. We need to hear from you because ultimately these are designed around our agents. So also, I want to mention a couple things. Number one, happy Juneteenth. Number two, we have a giveaway, a special giveaway on today's presentation. We're going to do at the end of the webinar right before 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll ask a question that has to do with our presentation. Whoever answers first and correctly wins the Fire 8 HD tablet. Plus, we have two new IUL prospecting books. One is Mary Reed's book, and one is a general IUL book that literally tees up the appointment for you. Okay, people use them as handouts, birthday gifts, holiday gifts, all the above. And it literally says, hey, Judy, Shelley, I'm ready to talk. Does Wednesday at 2 p.m. work? Okay, so that's fantastic. It gets the door open for you, the agent. Okay, what are we talking about today? We have some great stuff in front of us for the next hour here. Why? We have a lot of new things going on here at Levinson that you can utilize to move the needle in the life and annuity space. And then with Mutual of Omaha. Okay, we all know Moo. They've been around a long, long time. We were talking earlier and we were saying, I don't know of another A-plus rated carrier that has the suite of products and riders that Mutual of Omaha has. So it's just fantastic. I mean, there's so much stuff. We can probably talk for 2 to 3 hours, which we're not going to do today. We do have our VP, Michael, is joining us. So he's going to jump in about 5 to 7 minutes here. But what I wanted him to talk about was everything that's hot with the carrier, everything new, things that you should be utilizing at the carrier, okay? Or maybe something you didn't know was available. Now you're going to say, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And I'm going to use this at 4 p.m. when I hang up today, okay? So some great tools, products, features you're going to love, and their underwriting program, which is second to none. I know they made some great tech advancements on that side as well. Okay, let's jump in here to the first slide. Also, what I want to talk about too, and you know this, we're located out of South Florida, and the Florida Panthers just won the Stanley Cup for the second time in a row. We had our contest. We had one lucky winner. But my point is, this agent walked away with over $1,000 in cash and incentives. So make sure you're paying attention to those contests. We typically do those once a month, and it could be about anything, okay? But watch for those emails and then participate. Typically, there's a form or coupon you fill out, takes 2 seconds, and then boom, you're in the contest. Okay, fast forward, June is Annuity Awareness Month, as you know, and especially if you're working on the health insurance side, right? The target age range is at least 65 and up, okay? If you're in that market, great. If you're not, you need to start generating mailers, leads, prospects in that space, with the major question being, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, are you more focused on income or accumulation? Because I have something great for you, okay? And then that's when you want to reach out to one of our annuity marketers, and we'll put the right product in your hand so you can go out and make the sale. Why? Because look what's happening to the annuity space, right? And especially in 2024, we are booming, okay? Not only the industry, but here at Levinson, we're up 32%, and that's just month over month, the last few months. I mean, it's unreal. So I have a lot of life agents I've known for 20, 30 years that say to me, Bill, I want to get involved. And all of a sudden they write their first case and they're like, wow, I didn't realize there's basically no underwriting except for suitability, right? And I can get paid in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay. It's 1, 2, 3, no exams, no nothing. It's in and out. And the commissions could be 30, 40, 50, $70,000, depending on the size of the case. So anyway, my point is, and these are LIMRA stats to prove what I'm saying, you need to get involved. Okay. And if you're already a veteran, take advantage of some of our tools and lead programs, right? To move the needle even more so. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to talk about next real fast is what's most important to us. That's our customer, which is you. Okay. So when you write these things on our Facebook page, on our wall, on our Google reviews link, that means everything to not only me, but our entire extended family, so to speak, right? Now we're in 3 to 4 states around the country, but everybody gets to see these comments and reviews, testimonials, call them whatever you want. And what I can say to you is please share. I'll send you a prospecting book on us. And again, this is what moves the needle internally for all of our employees and staff members. So never stop doing this. Ian and Pete, thank you so much. Okay. Again, that's number one. We don't sell on a retail level whatsoever, right? Our customer is you, is the agent. So very, very important. Let's keep moving forward. Just wanted to point that out. Speaking of you, the agent, you have to be aware, especially recently, okay, for the first time ever, okay, in fact, I believe in this so much, and it's so important to an agent in the field that I put together a 4-minute video we're going to be launching this week, and what it talks about, it's the 5 things you need to be aware of, things that are going on in this industry today, and I'm hearing about it even more so the last couple years, even few years since COVID. So a few items I want to mention, okay, and these are literally the do's and don'ts in our life insurance field. First thing I want to mention, for the first time in 25 years, a carrier, not Mutual of Omaha, okay, but another carrier came to me. We were requesting a GA level for this general agency that had several hundred agents under them. This is just a couple weeks ago. And one of the questions is this agency part, or were they part of an MLM group? And they listed a few names. And I was scratching my head and I was saying, wow, for a carrier to ask this question before they appoint a GA, you need to be aware of these red flags, right? Because you don't want to get handcuffed to where you can't move a contract for the next 3 years or maybe forever. Like in this case, there's one of these groups where the carrier won't even take an agent if they were appointed with this upline forever. Okay, which I don't know. I just could not believe these words, and I never saw that before. And I said, I have to pull the covers back and share the facts without mentioning any names, of course. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I have to let our agents and even agents in the industry that aren't with us know the facts and know what questions to ask and get these things in writing. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and rant on this for 20 minutes, but what I can say is we'll include the slide in our thank you email, and keep your eyes peeled for my video that's going to put some light on this. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to talk about next is very important for all the agents out in the field: Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Key West, Florida, Hawaii. Okay, we have a few agents in Hawaii now, in Maui. But here's number one. We have, as you know, over 90 carriers on the life and annuity side. Mutual of Omaha, by the way, is one of our top 10 core companies, so they're definitely a featured carrier. But what you need to know is everything hot, everything that's not hot, what products maybe just got launched, what products are discontinued. Everything is here at your fingertips with our alert that goes out every other week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, let's go to our feature presentation here. I have my good friend from Mutual of Omaha, our regional vice president, Mr. Michael Marasco, is going to take the wheel. Mike, you there, buddy?
I'm here. Thank you for that introduction. I appreciate it. Hopefully my screen's up. So everyone
Yes.
out there, I just want to say, we have worked together with Carrie and Bill and all the good folks at Levinson for a number of years, and I can honestly tell you, if you're on the fence about who to go to get contracted for any of the fine carriers that they represent, that they do a phenomenal job, and not just that, but I think they do a service with our industry because they always have they're always knowledgeable about what's going on with a number of different carriers. Not only that, good and bad, because sometimes not everything's great, but you can't find anybody who's going to work harder on your cases. And I can honestly tell you, we get a good number of communications between Bill, Carrie, Michelle, all the folks down there. They are on top of your business. And I will tell you this, when they contact us, we tend to jump on that. So you can't find a better organization in my view. So I'll move on
Thank
to,
you for that, Mike. Thank you.
oh, well, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. Now we're going to see how
Well,
good I am at technology to see if I can advance my slides, which there we go. I
there
think,
we go.
hold on a minute. I'm ahead of myself there. So what I want to talk to you about is, we've been around an awful long time, and what I always tell people is, if you have a client who has any kind of an insurance need, yeah, we are a carrier that can likely find a solution for you. Everything from our fully underwritten IUL products in our term, we have index products, express term. We do traditional long-term care, final expense, cancer, heart attack, and stroke, children's whole life, and we even have a guaranteed issue accidental death. Now, I have a number of slides here. We're focusing mostly on our IUL products today, but what I do want to mention to you is Mutual of Omaha, we are not in the term wars as far as pricing goes, but we feel that we have a very good advantage with that product in that our convertibility for your clients is second to none. They can convert their products all the way up to 74, and we don't have conversion products, so they can convert into our latest, greatest products that we have, and that says something. The long-term care, I'm not on that side, but we are one of the few brokerage carriers that still has a very strong standalone product, and we do a terrific amount of business in there. On the final expense, we are really one of the leading carriers in that arena, especially, it's on the simplified issue type of a product, which it is. We have our application process, and all of that will help you get through the process. But during that process, if it doesn't look like somebody is going to qualify for either the level or graded, we will let you know during that process so you can transition maybe to a fully underwritten product or some other opportunity. But it saves you time from wasting time trying to find a fit if it's not there. But one of the things I tell everybody who is marketing this final expense is every time you get into a conversation and you're talking to somebody about that, that should be followed up with a discussion about the children's whole life, because these are grandparents, most cases, buying final expense. And most of these people probably have grandchildren, and they can buy a children's whole life policy on their grandchildren. They do not need to have parental permission for that. But that's a good way to tell somebody, hey, listen, you're planning for your final expenses. You might have some young grandchildren here. Why not utilize that opportunity and buy them a whole life policy that's going to guarantee their insurability as they get older and allows them to expand that coverage up 5 different times on different life events. But if something happens to that child when they're young and they can't get insurance in the future, they'll always have that. The other thing I tell them is, as a grandparent myself, it's you do that for your grandchild, they're going to remember you every year, even after you're gone, when that premium's coming. So just keep that in mind. I think it's good, maybe a little good sales concept that you can share and market. The other thing, we do have a very good portfolio for the critical illness, the cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Uh, with ours, if you buy the lifetime on that, that comes with the return of principal and premium on that if it's never been utilized. But I always tell people, all you have to do is go to a class reunion, see how many people have been affected by cancer, or how many of your buddies have now had a heart attack or a stroke. But I also remind people that this is an important coverage on a family plan, because nobody plans on their children being diagnosed with cancer when they're young or ever. But to have that lump sum of money so that you can do something to maybe find some different type of treatments and things of that nature, I think that that's, it's special to have, and it's something everybody should have. So we always suggest that you have you ask them, who do you have this coverage with? Because chances are a lot of people know that this is important coverage, but not everybody is buying it. So anyway, I touched on the children's whole life, and the last one I'm going to touch on here before we get into a more of a discussion on the IUL is this accidental death benefit policy that we have. If you have anybody who is uninsurable at anywhere, this is a lifesaver for them, because they might not be able to protect themselves insurance-wise based on their health. But I would suggest to you that if there is somebody who is relatively young, we're all still exposed to accidents. So to at least have something, if something happens in an accident, I think that is an impeccable comfort to somebody, and something is better than nothing on that. So keep that in mind. And I'm sorry here, I have trouble with my clicker. So I'll give you a quick overview of our RUL portfolio. We are a very low cost policy design. We are probably the least expense-based products in the industry. One of the key things that I think is a really big deal, if you are selling IUL or have sold IUL, and you see what the caps and participation rates have done with a lot of other carriers with the new money rates, you see that those have kind of fallen below. With us, we use our portfolio money approach. So whoever has a policy in force, they're getting the same caps and rates as the new folks. Now, we do that because we are a mutual company. We're not concerned about what the markets are going to say or do, but we are concerned about the owners of our company, which are our policy owners. So that is a very big deal. So, cap integrity is a part of that. We want consistent performance. We publish we publish these on the Discover IUL, so you can see that. I think since we've introduced these products, we probably have had maybe 3 different times that we change rates on that. So we're very consistent with that. The other thing that I will tell you that I think is very important, for as long as we've been around as a carrier, we're well over 100 years old. We have never, ever increased cost of insurance on life policies. Like I said before, we're not worried about, Wall Street and all that. We are concerned, and we report to our policy owners. So we have really, we have 2 basic policies that we are selling right now. The first one is the Income Advantage, and that one is an accumulation-focused IUL. It builds good cash values, has a great index loan provisions. We have the same policy on a protection basis, which will guarantee up to age 90, but it will run to 120. We also have an IUL on our Express platform. It's going to be for lower face amounts, but sometimes if somebody's looking at a term policy and things of that nature, sometimes this is a pretty good product since it's permanent to consider, because it is guaranteed for 20 years. So you can see on here, we have our different crediting strategies and, and things of that nature, but we're basically looking at the S&P 500 for, for the different variations on there. But we do have a Bank of America US Agility Index, and it's, 1 year that's uncapped, and that does a pretty decent job. What we see on this mostly is most of the folks who are buying these products right now from us are doing the 100% participation rate with the 10% cap on that. They are a little bit different when you look at the protection policy. That would be 100% with an 8.5% segment cap rate. But you can see we do a pretty good job with our guarantees and everything on that. We are very focused on the performance of these policies. Again here, if we take a look at, excuse me for one second, I'm just trying to move something out of my way on this screen. There we go. So on this one is our income advantage, and this is the accumulation, obviously. You can look here, if we look at a male who's 50, preferred non-smoker, 20,000 a year, 15 pay. If you look at the year one charge in that far left column, and you see we have 4 carriers listed there. So the first one's at 3,390, second one's at 5,000, and you can see down below our charge is 2,080. Okay, only 10.4%. If you look at the accumulation charges in those carriers over the 15 years, you can see we are significantly lower than all of our competitors that we're looking at here. So, and if you look at the actual participation on that, the funds that are participating in the index, you can see we clearly have a superior cost basis product. And we're not going to go over all of these, but this is what you can find if you go to that discoveriul.com. You will see all of our historic rates and our returns and caps and everything. So we're very proud of what we're doing in that product line, and we're going to let everybody know how well we're doing. We're actually right now, I will actually go out on a limb and tell you we are doing a lot of some rescue plans. There are some agents out there who don't want to maybe have their E&O coverage kind of put to the test. So we do have some who are moving some folks, and we're doing some rescues with the underperforming IUL. So it's something we can help you with our advanced markets team to make sure that it's going to make sense for your customer. One of the things that we're very proud of on here is, we're a very good long-term care carrier. Everybody knows this. We have a terrific amount of experience in helping people during the long-term care claim, all of that. So we were able to convince our long-term care folks not to fight us and let us do a long-term care rider on our IUL products. So it's available on both of the income advantage and also the life protection advantage. The life protection advantage is kind of the preferred product of choice on that, just because it kind of coincides more with people who are looking at the protection. This rider is available in every state except California. For some reason, they have a problem with anything with long-term care with us. This is a reimbursement rider, and it's going to pay on actual expenses. It's fully underwritten. It is underwritten on the life side, but you could have 2 different offers. Maybe on the life might be, let's say if you had a preferred on the life, maybe you only get a standard on the long-term care rider just because of the morbidity and that difference. But this is going to give somebody an opportunity to access all of the death benefit or a portion of the death benefit for any covered long-term care expenses. And again, if this person gets declined for the long-term care rider, they automatically receive our chronic illness rider. And we'll get into that one a little bit later. So again, The long-term care rider is an upfront cost. There's no discount on the back end. If your client is going to purchase a million to a million and 2.5 face amount, a 4% benefit is the same cost as a 2% benefit. Don't ask me how that worked out that way, but it does. So choose the 4%. The cost of insurance is not going to increase because it's guaranteed not to do so. And that is really important when you're looking at a long-term care rider. You know, it's not necessarily a coverage per se on the permanent side and the standalone sides. They have all gone through a lot of price increases in recent years. When we came out with this, we wanted to do it so we wouldn't have to raise the cost of insurance on that. If somebody does file a claim and they're receiving the long-term care rider benefits, the rider charges are waived, but the life insurance and other charges will continue on that. So again, they can access all or a portion of the death benefit for long-term care expenses. Any used LTC benefits will still pass to the beneficiary tax-free. And you know, you can structure the product so that a portion of the face amount is only used for the death benefit protection. So you can kind of separate that out. This website down here below, I encourage you to go take a look at it. This isn't anything you have to sign on to. You click it on and it will provide you a lot of information on how that rider works and whatever questions you can ask. It's pretty robust. We do have some really good living benefit riders on here. And again, this accelerated death benefit rider for chronic and terminal illness. So this allows the person to take 80% of the death benefit up to $1 million. It's limited to 500,000 in California. For anybody who cannot do, you know, have 2 ADLs or they have severe cognitive impairment. If somebody also has a life expectancy of 12 months or less, they can access this. So there's no cost at issue. We don't underwrite for this. And the key on this to keep in mind is there is no age or table rating limit on here. Some other carriers have a rider similar to this, but they might limit that to age 74 or maybe a table 4 rating. With us, it doesn't matter. If somebody takes that policy, that rider is on there. Now, we also have this guaranteed refund option rider. And after I go through this, I'm going to show you how this, in conjunction with the other 2 riders, kind of helps you to design a sale. And I'm excited about that. But anyway, this grow rider, as we call it, it lets somebody, basically they're 60 or younger, they have 760-day windows which they can surrender their policies and get all of their premium back. They get up to age up to 50% in year 15. That is something we had on our old policies back in the day when some other carriers had something similar. We don't see many people exercising that, but at the end of years 20 through 25, they have access to 100% of all the premiums back when they surrender the policy. So this also allows us to issue multiple policies at the $1 million band with one application. And that is really where you come into some custom. So if somebody really wants to take advantage of this grow rider, and now if you look at one policy and it's a $2 million policy, that grow rider is the ABR rider is limited to up to $1 million, right? But if you take 2 applications, you now have 2 piles of $1 million to access anything for that chronic illness rider. Because now we don't look at it per insured, this is per policy. Okay, so that's a big deal. The other deal with that is somebody might want to have the long-term care rider on a $1 million policy and just use the ABR rider on the second one. That will reduce the cost of the long-term care rider overall as opposed to putting it all in one policy. The other thing to keep in mind with this is that regardless of what somebody does, let's just say somebody doesn't care and they just want to have the two policies because maybe in 20 years their needs are going to change. Maybe their kids are all out of school, houses are paid off, and they just don't want to feel the need to have $2 million. Well, they can surrender one, take the funds that they've already paid and throw it into the other policy. That's one option. The other option they can do at that time is maybe they say, well, we want to have some coverage, so let's just take a paid up reduced face amount. So there's a lot of different things that can be done with this. And again, if somebody has, a $3 million or a $4 million need, they can use that grow rider to help them get 4 policies. So just please keep that in mind. It's something that we don't promote with a bunch of marketing pieces, but it's definitely a way to really model a policy. The other thing that we are really strong about is stress testing. We know that when you run us in comparison with anybody else, if you're running a policy and you run us at 4.5%, we're going to outperform. Illustrations are only that, they're illustrations. It's very important when you run a stress test, you can see the impact of the expenses that some carriers have with, there's not that they're all bad, but some of them you're paying for things that may never happen. With us, we're very simple. So you can see here, we have a male age 45, preferred non-tobacco. It's a $25,000 premium for 15 years. Use an increasing death benefit for 15, and we're doing index loans. So the important thing here is to look at the retirement income on here. Now, if everything's going well and we're looking at the maximum, interest rates, and that's always happened and everything, some people might accumulate more on some of the other than we have, and look at the income. But go down, and when you look at what happens when you're getting 5% or 4%, even all the way down to 0%, you can see what the expenses internally, how they impact the income coming out for retirement. So it's very important that you do that. As far as looking at a, stress testing the same way for the guaranteed. So on this one, we have a 65-year-old preferred non-tobacco male, and we were solving for the premium to carry to age 120. So you can see here at 5%, we're outperforming everybody there. Same as if it's they earn 4, 2, 1, even at 0, we're still going to hit the numbers we have. So it's very important to take a look over here on the right-hand side. You can actually see the amount of premium as well. So the stress testing, I encourage everybody to do, or if anybody's running illustrations for you and you want to do a comparison, it's important that you see that. It's almost, same thing as considering sequence of events in retirement, so of return events, excuse me. We have some great underwriting programs as well. We have the FIT program, and this is really designed for people to come in at table 4, and we can take a table 4 to a 2 or table 2 to a standard. There's nothing that you need to do or ask about. We've been running this program for a long time. All the information that we need, we can see on APSs and their financials and things of that nature. This is a program that we have put in place at least 15 years now. About 85% of our people get that, and this goes up to our retention and also up to age 75 for these credits. We also do some accelerated underwriting as well for our fully underwritten term, both of the IULs. This will go up to $2 million space for people ages 18 to 60. There's no random kickoff questions. You have to use a speedy ticket or a drop ticket through iPipeline. The one thing I will tell you is that if we do see something in there that warrants it being shifted from accelerated to standard underwriting, we will continue to underwrite that. We will let you know. we encourage people who fit in this arena to let them know this is one of those things where it's better to undersell and overdeliver, and just let them know that there's a potential that they might be able to qualify to get their underwriting done on a more accelerated basis than traditional. We've also come out with a fluidless underwriting program. And, this one is a special program for, people who are, between 30 and 65. They need to be U.S. citizens or valid green card holders. But, applicants who complete an annual or an executive physical in the U.S. or U.S. territory, if they do that within 18 months, they can do face amounts from $2 million to $5 million. If it's within 12 months, the face amounts can go to $5 million to $10 million. So this is for all of our fully underwritten life products, including the term. So one thing I do also want to mention, and I almost forgot to do this, which is I apologize for that. One other thing that's new is we did just this week introduce a new fixed index annuity. I don't have all the details ready to throw out, but it is rolling out, and you'll be seeing, I'm sure they'll be getting all the information at Levinson and Associates, but we're really excited about that. So that's new. The other thing that is new, and it's close enough to July 1st, and I'm going to be going out of town here. So if I get in trouble, I won't know until I get back. But we are increasing our internal retention. So that'll be up to $10 million. And there's going to be details coming out on that. So keep that in mind. Again, when we talk about our simplified issue, I'm going to transition over there. I always tell people if we have a product that covers people from 2 weeks old till up to age 89, to be honest with you. Again, we have the Living Promise, the final expense products, our Index Universal Life Express, 18 to 75 years old on that. We have the Children's Whole Life, Term Life Express. We have that Guaranteed Advantage Accidental Death, the Critical Advantage for people up to age 64, and the Critical Advantage Cancer, Heart Attack, all the way up to age 89. So we have a product for everybody's needs at every stage of their life, and we have received a lot of recognition and accolades in the industry. We're here a long time. We're a company you can trust. We've been around forever, and we're in the midst right now. We're building the 40 some odd story building right in the heart of Omaha. So we're doing very well, and any business that we can get from you, we would greatly appreciate. And I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, I'm here.
That was great, Mike. Excellent job. And, you're probably scratching your head too, saying, wow, I had no idea they had this many products and options. Our marketing team of 11, they're here to help you, right? So if you have a case, you have a guy, you have a girl, just call in and we'll get you the right product, the right illustration, get you appointed, and make sure everything is 100%. So just don't forget that, okay? And if there was something special that you saw, you want to reach out after, of course, we're here for you as well. I do want to mention, I have a couple other things here before we wrap up, and then we have our giveaway. But I want to mention to everyone listening, and by the way, we have a record number on, so thank you to all the agents. What I want to say too, and Mike, excellent job. Thank you again, as always. You always bring it to the table exactly like we ask, and you do a phenomenal job each time. So thanks again. For everyone listening too, if you, let's say you are appointed with Levinson, great. If you're appointed with another upline and you want to move the contract, okay, whatever the situation is, let us know. But here's all of the pluses when it comes to that. Number one, you get the free scholarship program, okay, which most of the Mutual of Omaha products are eligible with our SAGE program. So that's a complimentary big plus on your side. And for the client, of course. Number two is leads for contracting. So when you move your contract over. As soon as you write and place your first app, you can qualify for free leads, orphan leads with your transfer and then the first app, or cash for contracting. So as soon as you move the contract, first application paid, you get to choose orphan leads or the cash for contracting. And then, of course, you get all of the bells and whistles that's included in our turnkey marketing platform. So lots and lots of pluses there. Everything is in front of you on that slide. We'll send this out in the thank you email as well. Let's keep moving forward. The next slide is just about how to get started, which I just touched on briefly. The next slide, and this is a big deal. So here's what I want to mention. We have, and if you're talking about, whatever, the non-med term, IUL, if you're talking about final expense with Mutual of Omaha, which they have the #1 product right now, everything is very simple on our website. Okay, so the slide you're looking at in front of you, if you're running a term or UL quote, right, or even IUL, you put in the basic information. Okay, you're going to get the quote on the right-hand side, and then you hit apply. That will go right to the drop ticket or e-app and populate all the info, and you're done. You're off to the races. You just went from A to Z in less than 12 minutes. Okay, so everything integrates, and then our platform integrates right into the Mutual of Omaha back office. So it's streamlined, simple, and then obviously you'll get a status update within typically 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so very, very simple. The next slide we're going to show you is the same process, but with final expense only. So it's all on our website, but this is how simple it is. Left-hand side, basic info. On the right-hand side, if it's that one client that has some health conditions you want to put in and you have no idea if they're going to get approved, what is going to be the class, this will do everything for you. And this is all complimentary, by the way. And you can see where Mutual of Omaha is coming in #1 for that specific client. Okay, let's keep moving forward. What I want to talk about next, and this is a big deal, and Moo was the first one to roll this out when it comes to underwriting programs, fit credits, table shaving. They were the first. So we put them first with that yellow arrow. And you can take a look to the right-hand side. They even give, for cigar smokers, non-smoker rates. You can shave off up to 2 tables. Another big deal is the fit test. That's where you can get credits, health credits, to bump that client up to the next best class. Just under that is Columbus, Lincoln, and then Allianz, which also has similar programs. So we wanted to point that out. Okay, let's keep moving forward. The SAGE program is a no-brainer. This is free for you. It's free for the consumer. And especially if you're working, I know Mike mentioned that Children's Whole Life, what a great door opener. Just think about it if you're visiting with a grandma and grandpa, right? And they want the Children's Whole Life for a few extra bucks a month. Okay. And then you're throwing in this 1-year free scholarship for little Johnny, right? Or little Jenny. Okay. Do you think they're going to say no to that? They're going to say yes. Okay. And there's no gray area. Okay. We have over 440 colleges in the country. Okay. You enroll. And by the way, it's direct to consumer. So literally a link on our website, the client can self-enroll or you do it with them. And then they have, it's like a checking account, like a Bank of America online checking account. Everything shows all their points. Every point is $1. And then in 15, 20 years, here, this example, almost 50,000 points, which is 50,000 of scholarship. Okay. That's a big deal. That could pay for 1 to 2 years. Okay. Do you think that would be helpful? Absolutely. Okay. Even if it's 25% off of a 4-year tuition, that's a big plus, and they didn't pay for it anyway. Okay. And even if the child or grandchild doesn't use it, you can transfer it to another blood relative. All of those carriers on the right-hand side are approved. It's compliant. And the best part, let's say with Mutual of Omaha, right? You've been selling Moo for 15 and a half years, and you have all these past policies that you've written, right? Your book of business is 182 pages thick. Great. You can go back to all of those clients and say, hi, Shelley, Robert, great news. I am now a SAGE approved agent. And because you bought this policy 7 years ago from me, I'm now giving you the scholarship program free that I couldn't give you back then, but today I can because your policy's still active. By the way, do you have any referrals that you could give me? I know you're so happy right now with this free service. Is there a way you can help me? Okay, use these for annual policy reviews, for cross-selling opportunities. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on, but it's free and it's one leg up versus your competition. Okay, it's a differentiator. So you got to use this stuff. All right, let's keep moving forward. This is a great sales idea that, and we just had this case come in, get placed, a monster case, and the commission alone. I'm going to jump to that. Let's move that on the right hand side. Commission alone to the agent, just over $200,000. Okay, this is with Mutual Trust Life. The product is called the Horizon Legacy Single Premium Whole Life product. So here's what's so cool. When you're looking at this, just take a step back and think. You might have a guy or girl, right, that fits into this. Obviously, they need to have a lot of cash up front, okay? But here's what's so amazing to me. So this was, like I said, an actual case. It was a 40-year-old male, standard non-tobacco, had $3.5 million they were going to put into a real estate investment. So the agent brought up this strategy and said, hey, I have a product where you can take that $3.5 million, put it into this single premium whole life, okay, and then you're going to have $3.3 million liquid you can take back out for that real estate investment. Plus, you're going to have a death benefit of just over $10 million guaranteed. Okay, and here's the best part. Let's say after 9 months, okay, the investment's going well, whatever it is, the client is going to repay that loan. So now you have a tax-free death benefit. You have gains every year. This is a whole life product that pays dividends. And then maybe in 5 years, 7 years, whatever it is, you can use the cash value and do the same thing again. Okay, so if you look at the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and you say, okay, if this client just put the $3.5 million into this investment, right, versus doing it this way with a whole life insurance policy, it makes for a no-brainer, okay, especially because it's almost 100% liquid in year one. That's insane. Okay, so you have to be able to explain these concepts. By the way, we're here to help you with this. We can run the illustration. We can show you everything from A to Z. And a case like this typically gets approved in less than a month, as long as it's a younger, healthier client. Okay, so these work great. And even if it's 100,000 or 50,000, it doesn't have to be 3.5 million. Let's keep moving forward. I love that concept. Okay, this is another great one we just found. So every week now, we promise that we're going to go on social media. We're going to do a search, and we're going to find the top performing life insurance posts that are working for other agents and agencies across the country. Okay, so here's what's awesome. Look at the right-hand side. Okay, number one, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to get creative and scrappy and launch these posts on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, even TikTok, okay, whatever it is. But you got to get the word out. But on the right-hand side, I love this quote. Life insurance is the last thing people prioritize, but the first thing they look for when someone passes away. Boy, do we know how true that is, right? How many people do you know, right, or they know of someone, right, that unfortunately passed away? The first thing the spouse or the parent, right, does is they reach out to the friend that's an insurance agent, right, or the insurance agent, and they say, oh my gosh, I hope the coverage was in place. How much was the policy? Okay, which is the natural reaction. Okay, but the point here is you have to discuss these things now so it's top of mind. And all of these prospects and friends in your network say to you, hey, Billy, I know you're the insurance guru. I don't want to be put in a situation like this. I need to get insurance now. Can you run a quote? Boom, the door is open. The rest is history. Okay, so all you're doing is pulling the covers back and sharing the facts. So you got to get creative, okay? The left-hand side, how life insurance works. You know, we're all in these four walls, so we get it. We know how important it is. We know the products. We know enough to be dangerous. Most clients, consumers, prospects, they don't get it. So all you're doing on the left-hand side is explaining the basics. Okay, tax-free death benefit. Okay, premiums could be as tiny as $6-7 a month, depending on age, benefit, and health. Okay, pulling the covers back, that makes the prospect say, hey, tell me more. Boom, you just made a new sale. Let's look at the likes. 150 likes, over 10 comments, over 180 shares, all with your name front and center, your logo, your image. Okay, you know what that does. By the way, you should be reaching out to every person that shared and, of course, had a comment or like to say, hey, Bobby, Shelley, that was my quote that you liked. Is there anything that you want to learn more about, or can I help you with a quote? Boom. Hopefully you make the sale and you're done. You can say, hey, I remember hearing this on Juneteenth on the Mutual of Omaha webinar that Bill went over. Let's keep moving forward. Almost on here, by the way. I got about 4 minutes and we'll put a bow on this. So real fast, these are great podcasts where you can learn more, right? Move the needle in 25. So on the left-hand side, this, I mean, hands down, right? As far as insurance executives in our space, Carlin Snipes is awesome. I've known her for over 25 years. I sat down with her for literally 52.5 minutes and picked her brain on the industry, on where are they seeing the most business coming from, any sales ideas. That was a great one. We launched it yesterday, number 58. Number 59, you're going to see in the next couple of days launching. It's already been recorded. Here's what's so great about Danny. When you think about social media, paid ads, he is the man, period. Okay. In fact, I've never met anyone that has the knowledge that he has, and their company, this third-party company, they will work with you and start to run these social media paid ads. Okay. They know what works, what doesn't. They try different things. He can share you what's working for others, and the list goes on and on. But I picked his brain for 30 minutes here. It's a great podcast. Okay, second to last slide, and we are done. This is our, think of a dinner menu, right? But it's all about training webinars that are upcoming. We have some great ones. I'm not going to go over every single one, but what I do want to say is this will be included in the thank you email you'll receive tonight. I do want to scroll all the way to the bottom. So Ohio National, as you know, changed the face of the company. They changed their staff. They changed a lot. And they now are entering the brokerage space under the name Augustar Financial. So one of our latest carriers to join the lineup. So you're going to see that's the official launch on August 7th. You're going to hear and see more about this company from us. Supposedly they have a great IUL, some great niche products. Comp is great. Renewals is great. But definitely something to look at moving forward. Okay, let's go to the last slide here, and then we'll do the most fun part of the webinar, which is question of the day. Before I do that, let's go to the left-hand side, which is my Positive Tuesday quote of the week. And what does it mean? Positive Tuesday means nothing. It's just a way that we brand and get the message out to our agents across the U.S., which, by the way, you should be doing the same thing. Call it Long-Term Care Friday, right? Return a Premium Tuesday. Most people don't even know there's a way you can get free term life insurance or even permanent insurance where you're covered for 20 years, and then all of a sudden you get all your premiums back, guaranteed, no questions asked, per the contract. Okay? They look at you like you have four heads. You got to get the message out to these people. All right. Anyway, my quote, think of the worst thing that has happened to you and turn that into the most powerful fuel that drives you forward. Be unstoppable, right? In this industry and out of this industry. Set examples, right? Be a good person in general. And you know what happens, right? Things start to turn in your favor. So let's do the right thing and keep moving forward. My question of the day, get your little fingers on the keyboard because you got to be quick and you got to be accurate. Okay. I spoke about this sales strategy where the agent made over $200,000. The company was Mutual Trust Life. Tell me the name of the product and you win. The Fire HD8 tablet and 2 prospecting books on us. I spoke about the $3.5 million single premium whole life example where the agent made just over $200,000. And all you need to do is tell me the name of the product. The company was Mutual Trust Life. Tell me the name of the product and you win. Andrew's going to tell us who was first and who was correct.
Okay, we have Jamie C. Jamie C.
Jamie C. Congrats. The product and the answer is called the Horizon Legacy Single Premium Whole Life. If you have any questions, if you want to see some illustrations, whatever it is, we're here to help in just one of these ideas, right? Start working on it this afternoon. Try something different, okay? If you get one like, one comment, it was one more than what you had before the webinar, okay? So it's a win, little by little, okay? Little wins each day add up, as we know. Let's have a great rest of your holiday, great rest of the day, great week, great selling, and thank you again for listening.